Alright, a quick review of the season. The Jazz are 9-2, leading the Northwest Division. Ahead of the Timberwolves, who are 9-4. The Blazers are 6-6, Nuggets 6-7, and the Thunder 3-8, bringing up the rear of the Northwest Division. Once again, I'm simulating a good portion of the regular season. This will be the last. This is my fourth season with the Jazz in NBA2K14. It will be my last season before I buy NBA2K14. I've played every single game of the first three seasons, regular season and playoffs. This year I'm simulating just to try to accelerate it into a chance to try to defend my title from last season. And I think here I'm going to simulate up to that road Lakers game, and then I will play that. So the Jazz with a 116-87 win in Minnesota, avenging a loss on the first game of the season. And the Jazz winning streak comes to an end as they lose in San Antonio 112-97. The Jazz get back to their winning ways with a 108-95 win over Golden State. Very even scoring from the Jazz. Peter Rowland led with 16, Favors had 14. 6 players overall in double figures for Utah, and Seraphim and Burks very close to double figures. Klay Thompson with 24 for Golden State. Alright, the Jazz defeat the Denver Nuggets 131-111 in Denver. High scoring game. Derek Favors, a monster with 38 points. For the Nuggets, Wilson Chandler had 20 and Fournier had 20. Gallinari with 16 and Nate Robinson 14. Wasn't enough as the Jazz win 131-111. Improving to 12-3 and leading the Northwest Division by 2.5 games over Minnesota. And here you can see the matchup between the Jazz and the Lakers. See the Jazz #1 overall rating, first in offense, third in defense. Starting lineups will be Burke, Hayward, Rowland, Aldridge, and Favors for the Jazz. And you see the Lakers, not a great defensive team, a very good offensive team, 17th overall. Their starting lineup is Ramon Sessions, Xavier Henry, Michael Beasley, Keon Pittman, and Al Jefferson. And welcome to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. The Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Lakers renew a heated rivalry. Not a lot of love between these two teams. In the first quarter, Michael Beasley, from the elbow extended on the right side, knocks down a 3 to tie the game at 3. Gordon Hayward answers for the Jazz. Rounded double screen, staggered screen, Jazz up 8-5, tied at 12 now, midway through the first. Gordon Hayward with the block on the layup. Jazz lead 14-12. Ramon Sessions, top of the key, looking down the barrel. Michael Beasley hits the shot. Game tied at 14. Jazz by 5 late in the first quarter. Still by David Riley, outlet to Peter Rowland for the two-hand hammer dunk. And the Jazz go up by 7. Offensive rebound by Jordan Hill, put back. Lakers cut the lead to 5. And at the end of the first quarter, the Jazz hold a 28-20 lead at Staples. Second quarter action now. Stephen Washington with it. On to Alec Burks. Burks lays it up and in off the glass. Jazz lead by 13. Another turnover. Trey Burke ahead to Washington for the layup. Jazz extend the lead to 17 on a 13-4 run. It's 43-26. Paciani knocks down the 18-footer. Jazz lead by 17 late in the first half. Trey Burke from 3 extends the Jazz lead to 20. 54-34, and at the half the Jazz with a 57-36 lead over the Lakers. Jazz shooting a scorching 58% from the field. Third quarter action now. LaMarcus Aldridge, turnaround fall away, shot good. Over Keon Pittman. Jazz still lead by 20. 18-point lead now. Pittman for 3 cuts the lead to 15. Favors ahead to Hayward. Hayward up off the glass. Rebound put back by LaMarcus Aldridge. Jazz lead by 18 midway through the third. Ramon Sessions step back. Knocks down the 3. Lakers on a little run. Cut the lead to 13. 13-point lead now. LaMarcus Aldridge. Double team coming from Jordan Hill. LaMarcus Aldridge spins baseline and knocks down the fadeaway. Jazz lead by 15. Still late in the third, Jazz by 13. Alec Burks knocks down the 3, but he goes down on the play, and he is out of the game, favoring his right leg. Jazz lead by 16 at that point, and at the end of the third quarter, they hold a 13-point 82-69 lead. Fourth quarter now, 10-point lead for the Jazz. Michael Beasley, pull up. Knocks down the 15-footer, cuts the lead to single digits. Jazz go on a little run, get the lead back to 15. Favors on the pick and roll from Trey Burke, lays it up and in. Jazz extend the lead back to 17. Late in the game now, Trey Burke knocks down the 3 to put the Jazz back up by 20, and the Jazz look like they're going to cruise to a victory here at Staples. Scrubs in now. Rudy Gobert gets the layup. Jazz lead 112-85. They go on to win it 114-88, the final score from Los Angeles. Michael Beasley led all scorers with 31 points on 13 of 20 shooting, 5 of 10 from downtown. Ramon Sessions chipped in 18 with 11 assists. For the Jazz, Derek Favors had 20, Trey Burke with 19. Peter Rowland, 12 and 8 rebounds. LaMarcus Aldridge, 10 and 7 rebounds. And Alec Burks diagnosed with a torn MCL. He's going to miss 6 to 8 months. There's a possibility he could return for the playoffs, but more than likely, Alec Burks' season is over, a torn ACL, and the Jazz will have to adjust from this point on. We're going to move quickly through some scores here up until our next game. The Blazers beat the Jazz 102-101. The Jazz beat the Mavericks 98-82. The Bucks crushed the Jazz 115-91. Hawks beat the Jazz 108-103. Utah over Memphis 98-78. The Jazz beat the Clippers 118-104. The Magic defeat the Jazz 114-107. Carmelo Anthony and the Magic. The Jazz beat the Thunder 94-92. Pistons beat the Jazz 101-97. The Jazz beat San Antonio 118-107. Jazz over the Knicks 119-106. Jazz beat the Nets 108-94. Bobcats beat the Jazz 114-110 in Charlotte. The Jazz over Houston 116-94. The Jazz beat the Blazers 116-85. And the Jazz have signed C.J. Miles to try to offset the injury to Alec Burks, former Jazzman back with the team. And we head out to Energy Solutions Arena, the Boston Celtics and the Utah Jazz. You see the Celtics starting lineup: Isaiah Thomas, Bradley, Dang, Solinger, and Cantor. The Jazz have Burke, Hayward, Rowland, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Derek Favors as we get set for this game between the Jazz and the Celtics. Enes Kanter on the low block. Hayward late coming over for the double team, and Kanter gets the jump hook to go. Jazz by 4. Avery Bradley from the corner for the Celtics knocks down the 3. Jazz lead is 12-11. Midway through the first quarter, Trey Burke knocks it away from Isaiah Thomas. Gordon Hayward picks it up, and he will go coast to coast for the two-hand flush. Jazz lead 16-11. LaMarcus Aldridge now, baseline to Peter Rowland. Reverse jam down the baseline. And at the end of the first quarter, the Jazz with a 27-19 lead over the Boston Celtics. C.J. Miles now. Off the screen. Hits the three. That's his first shot as a member of the Jazz the second time around. Kelly Olynyk. Jump hook with the left hand. Off the glass. Up and in. Jazz lead 38-31 midway through the second quarter. On to Rowland for the layup on the break. Jazz lead by 9. Still a 9-point lead. Trey Burke. Spin move. Top of the key. Jump shot is up and in. Jazz by 11. Corner 3 good for Boston. And at the end of the first half, the Jazz with an 8-point lead, 48-40 over Boston. Derek Favors, 13 points and 4 boards. Kelly Olynyk for the Celtics has 12 points on 6 of 8 shooting, 4 rebounds. Peter Rowland also with 8 points. The Jazz shooting 57% from the field. See, the Jazz are 22-9 coming into this game. The Celtics are 17-14. Avery Bradley to the hoop. Jazz lead by 7 here. Derek Favors, guarded by Enes Kanter. Favors fakes. Kanter up in the air. Score it, count it, and the foul. Favors goes to the line. On the and one. Jazz by 12 now. To Trey Burke. On the break. To Gordon Hayward. Beautiful left-handed layup off the feed from Burke. And Hayward has 8 points. Favors spins baseline. High arcing shot from behind the plane of the backboard. He hits it. LaMarcus Aldridge loves it. Trey Burke on to Peter Rowland for the oop. Jazz extend their lead to 16. .16-point lead for the Jazz. Behind the head pass from Trey Burke to Peter Rowland. Reverse layup. Up and in, and the Jazz lead by 18. That's 17 points for Peter Rowland. Marshawn Brooks now with the takeaway. Coast to coast. Flushes at home. And it's 71-56 in favor of Utah. At the end of the third quarter, the Jazz with a 78-62 16-point lead here in Salt Lake City. Beginning of the fourth now. Kevin Seraphim, pump fakes. Kanter stays on the ground this time, but Seraphim's able to power it home off the glass. Jazz lead by 19. 17-point lead now. Luol Deng, former Jazz man from a couple seasons ago, knocks down the three. 18-point lead now, coming down the lane of hammer dunk for the Celtics, but it's a little too late and not enough as the Jazz go on to defeat Boston by a score of 106-88, improving to 23-9. Celtics fall to 17-15. Quick look at the Western Conference standings. The Utah Jazz at 23-9, ahead of the Houston Rockets by 1 game, the Timberwolves by 4.5. The Grizzlies, Blazers, Kings, Spurs, Pelicans, and Nuggets round out the playoff teams in the Western Conference. Jazz are 18-3 against teams from the West. We look at the Eastern Conference. The Orlando Magic are leading a half a game ahead of Chicago. The Celtics at 17-15 are down behind the Raptors. They are 7th in the conference. The Bobcats, 8th, would be the last playoff team if the season ended today.